New Year! I'm here today and I'm going to do the 2013 kind of edit that I've done of my best products from Cosmetics. First product is a face primer, and I've gone for the Revlon Photoready Perfecting Primer. I actually think that this is one of the best primers on the market, which is affordable. And unlike a lot of primers where I would just tend to use it over key areas of the face where I want to hide my pores, I actually use this all over my face, and I've used it today. I've used all the products that I've chosen as my 2013 cosmetic favourites today on my face to say that I really do use these and I really do love these. But the Revlon Photoready Primer is just fantastic. It really does get rid of all imperfections. It's really easy to go on. There's a lot of it as well. You just can't go wrong with this primer, and that's the reason why I probably had this in 2012, probably even, but it was a repurchase in 2013 and it has to be one of my favourites. So as my liquid foundation, I have chosen the Revlon Nearly Naked foundation. I've got this in 120 Vanilla. It's just such a perfect light to medium coverage foundation. It makes it look like you're not really wearing anything. The colour match is perfect, especially for lighter skin ladies. I'm not entirely sure on the darker spectrum of things, but it has been compared to the Urban Decay foundations, but I can't compare because I don't own one myself. This though, my only issue with it is it doesn't come with a pump, but you quite easily throw it on the back of your hand, throw it on. It's great for dry skin. I found I've got like severely dry skin on my face and it doesn't cling to any dry patches or make me feel any less, I suppose, any less hydrated. It actually adds a little bit of something, but it gives I wouldn't say a matte finish, but there's no real dewiness there either. I do pop a bit of powder over the top of it just to keep it in place, but it's a fantastic little foundation which lasts a really long time. And then for my kind of cream, BB cream, CC cream foundation, I've chosen the Dr. Jart Regenerating Beauty Balm because it really is one of the best beauty balms on the market. That you can buy in the UK anyway. The Asian market is completely saturated with beauty balms and CC creams, but you know, the thing is, over there they are a lot more popular. Over here we tend to think of a beauty balm as more of a tinted moisturiser essentially, which it really isn't, and this, if anything, goes to prove that this is what a BB cream should be like. It's ever so slightly tacky to the touch. You have to really work it in. But it has all the benefits that your usual BB cream has with it. It's very moisturising, it conceals, it covers, it does pretty much everything. And on days when I just really can't be bothered to do the full shebang with my skincare, I will throw this on and it's just fantastic. It saves, you know, 5 minutes doing the whole routine, just throw this on, it's brilliant. And I can't honestly say that I've got a better BB or CC cream in my collection. Moving on to concealer, I decided that I would give a certain concealer another shot, probably about halfway through the year, I guess. I bought the Maybelline Fit Me range. I bought the foundation, I bought the concealer, and I bought the powder. And the only thing I wasn't sold on was the concealer, and it has become my favourite concealer, the Maybelline Fit Me concealer. It actually comes in quite nice packaging. It's quite, you know, simple and quite delicate, easy to throw in your bag, but it's a very creamy concealer. I would actually probably say that it was quite like the NARS creamy concealer, but on a budget. It's fantastic. It is ever so slightly on the lighter side of the coverage, but for anyone with dry skin, they know that concealers just cling to any real problem areas that they have, and I'm no exception to this rule. I have a real problem with a lot of concealers, and what I assumed was my favourite concealer of all time, which was the Collection 2000 concealer, or just the Collection concealer, I think they're calling themselves now. I find that it's really not good for your under eyes. It clings to any kind of small imperfections and it creases. It's not great. It's great for covering up blemishes or any other imperfections across the face, just not for under eyes. This works for pretty much everything. I pretty much cover my entire face with this. It's fantastic. When it comes to powder, I'm quite picky. I like my powders to properly set my makeup in place, mattify, because I'm not a fan of the dewy or overly watery look. It just doesn't suit me. And I also, having dry skin, again, it's very difficult to find a powder that's not going to make your foundation or your concealer look very cakey. And I have found in the same line, the Fit Me powder, it is just fantastic. This stuff you can bung on as much as you fancy and it's just not going to cake, it's not going to make you look dusty or fake or anything. It's fantastic stuff. I use this to touch up throughout the day. I'm not massively sold on the packaging, it's not great. I mean, you've got a decent sized powder in there, and you've got, if you lift it up, you've got a mirror here and then a powder puff, but I don't really use the powder puff, it's not great. Yeah, it's fairly cheap packaging, but do you know what, for what the powder does, I will quite happily buy this again and again and again. It's just perfect. And anyone with dry skin that's on the lookout for a good powder that's going to set their makeup in place, this is the one to go for. We're moving into bronzer territory now. And I found this one really difficult because I'm not a massive bronzer person. I have no definition, I have no cheekbones, I have nothing. So it's very difficult for me to get something that really draws that out and gives me the right contour that I need for my kind of round face. And I've got a few and they're alright, but it wasn't until I saw Estè's review on Essiebutton about Bourjois bronzing primer that I decided to run out and get it. It did take about a week to hunt one of these down in the end, but it's a fantastic mousse product. So it's really easy to pick up with the brush, and you need the tiniest amount, otherwise you're going to overload your face with this. I pop it on kind of around where I assume my cheekbones are. I pop it along the sides of my nose, temples, everywhere. Not only that, but it does actually smell quite nice as well. I wouldn't say it smells like chocolate, though, which is what it looks to smell like on the cover. But it does have quite an addictive fragrance, just not chocolate. It's just fantastic. It does its job. It's not yellowy or, you know, that kind of muddy colour that some bronzers go. It doesn't do that. It does what it says. It's just a tinted primer essentially, but I found that if I put it on underneath my foundation, it doesn't really show through as much, so I've just taken to just buffing it in over the top of my foundation. And because it is in that really smooth consistency, it doesn't budge around all the foundation or anything else. It just sits there and looks great, and it doesn't move for like the whole day. Moving on to probably one of my most favourite beauty products of all time, and it is blush. Now, skip back a few years ago and I didn't even wear blush. I probably couldn't have told you what blush was. But now I have quite a collection of them, and it was quite hard to narrow these down, so I've narrowed it down to a powder and a cream, which is probably slightly cheating, but I thought, well, it's such a vast topic and there are so many different blushes, we've got to give them equal chance, right? So for the powder for the powder blush, I picked Benefit's, I think you say it Coralista or Coralista. I picked their blush. Not only is it the most beautiful kind of peachy pink colour, which I've hit pan on, by the way, I wear this colour so much, it's just absolutely gorgeous in smell. I don't understand why a blush should smell nice, but this really does. I'm not massively sold on the packaging personally, it's not really my kind of thing, but I knew I had to have this in my life. When I found that they'd made this and it was corally and peachy and oh, it blends on so nicely, I would say this pretty much would go with any skin tone. You can't really go wrong with a peachy, it's almost slightly champagne-y coloured in there. It's got kind of goldy flecks of colour too. It's just one of the best blushes ever, and I reach for it day after day after day, which is why I've hit pan. And then if I want to say what my favourite cream blush is, I would have to say Illamasqua Androgen Cream Pigment every day of the week. Now, this little beauty is fantastic. I'm not massively sold on the packaging again with this one, purely because it just slightly falls apart all the time, and I just fear that I have this in my bag and it's going to just fall apart. But if I put that to the side, the colour itself is amazing. It's I guess it's a really bright pink on the cheeks, probably more, it probably looks slightly peachier on the skin than it does in the pan, but you do have to work this stuff in properly, but once you do, the payoff is sensational. It really is. And I find myself reaching for this a lot more than I thought I was going to when I bought it. And it's just one of those things that I don't have another colour like it in my collection. And not only can you use this as a blush, you can use it as an eyeshadow, you can use it on the lips, and I have used it quite a lot on the lips actually as well, and it's just a really versatile little product. It's fantastic. I mean, I think they're about £17, so they're not on the cheap side, but when you think about how many uses they have, they're fantastic and definitely worth the price. I guess I'm going to cheat a bit with my highlighter. I haven't chosen more than one, but I've just chosen one product, and it is the Soap & Glory Glow All Out Luminizing Radiance Face Powder. It's a massive mouthful, but comes in this really lovely packaging, proper old school. But it probably really isn't so much a highlighter as more of a face powder, but it has this really kind of peachy shiny glow to it. It just makes your face look better, essentially. It's kind of slightly champagne-y, there's this flecks of pink, and there's a really iridescent lovely shine from this when you paste it over your kind of cheeks. And then Cupid's bow I really like to use it with this. It really brings out the Cupid's bow quite nicely. Moving on to eyes now, and I was going to go for an eye primer. I wasn't originally going to add this, but I got one of these quite recently, and even though it had been right at the end of the year, I do feel it deserves a little special mention on my 2013 favourites list, and it is the Urban Decay Eyeshadow Primer Potion, and I'm pretty sure that a lot of girls who have an Urban Decay palette probably have one of these too, and if they don't have an Urban Decay palette and they have any other eyeshadow, they probably still have one of these, because oh my god, they are fantastic. I have not been able to find an eyeshadow primer that works quite as well as this little beauty. It comes out in it's kind of skin coloured, I guess. Very tacky. You need the smallest amount, which is why I just got a small one for now, just to try it out, just to make sure that it lived up to the hype, essentially. Throw it on over my eyes, put my eyeshadow on, and I'll be damned if it doesn't last all day. It really does. I find I actually did an experiment with this, and I wore some eyeshadow for one day and I didn't put any primer on, and within about an hour it had creased up. I put this on yesterday and with the same eyeshadow combination, and there was no creasing whatsoever. It's fantastic, and it makes everything look so much more vibrant and pigmented. It's just wow, this stuff. I have had eyeshadow primers in the past, but they've not really done their job. This really does, and it will be a forever repurchase. Now, talking about eyeshadow primer, we've got to talk about eyeshadow. I don't wear it a lot, but when I do, I really do get into my colours. So I've split this into a single eyeshadow colour and a palette. For the single eyeshadow colour, I've cheated a little bit because I actually got this for Christmas from my boyfriend, and it's MAC's Cranberry, which I've got in a quad. Which I haven't filled with other colours yet because I'm finding ones that go really well with Cranberry, and I've been asking people on Twitter, so if you want to leave a comment down below, I'd really appreciate it, because I'm a bit clueless when it comes to picking colours that go well with each other. Oh my god, this colour is amazing. I basically said on Twitter that I don't know what I did with my life before I had MAC Cranberry. It's just such a beautiful, like, aubergine, berry, glistening goldy colour. It's just fantastic. It goes with pretty much everything as well, and I don't feel I need to justify that colour anymore to be my favourite, because I've used this more this year in the few days that were left of 2013 from Christmas than I've pretty much used any other colour, so that was a winner for me. And then when it comes to the palette, what I got for my birthday this year from my boyfriend was Naked Basics palette. What can you say about this palette other than that it is the most gorgeous mix of 6 nude colours that just go with absolutely everything. you know, there's highlight colours, there's dark colours. I use Crave quite a lot to really bring definition to darker colours. I'm actually wearing Crave now with Cranberry. They're just fantastic to go together, and I use Naked 2 quite a lot as a base for other shadows, so that's seen quite a lot of use this year. How can we talk about eyes without talking about mascara? And my favourite mascara happens to be the Benefit They Are Real mascara. This is a little trial size one, which is really handy for taking around in your handbag as you're thinking, oh, I forgot to put my mascara on this morning, which happens quite a lot to me, so I'll throw this on. But it really surprised me in how it worked, because I didn't believe the hype, and I didn't want to believe the hype either. I thought, how can a mascara really make your eyes look like you're wearing false eyelashes? And I wouldn't say that it does that, but it does make your eyelashes look a lot longer and more defined, I guess. Well, this mascara for me, it wasn't great at the start. It's kind of like the Fit Me concealer situation. I used it, but I probably didn't coat enough of it on. I didn't really like it. I felt that it flaked a lot and it wasn't fantastic. I came back to it a couple of months later and started coupling it with some other mascaras as well. So I'd use this as a base to lengthen, and then I'd use others to kind of add volume, because my lashes really do lack volume. But eventually I started taking the other mascaras out and just using this one and just really building it up. And wow, it really does give a real oomph to the lashes, curling them beforehand, and I can pretty much feel my eyelashes touching near the top of my brows. It's ridiculous. I've not used another mascara as much as I've used that this year, so it had to be in my 2013 edit. We're moving on to brows now, and I'd have to say that I've been pretty rubbish with choosing another brow product this year, because this one has worked so well, and it's the Urban Decay Brow Box in Brown Sugar. A really simple little box. You can see that I've pretty much used the colours to death. It's stupid. I started out with a lighter brown and realised actually my hair's so dark that I pretty much do need the darker brown really. So again, I've used that one to death, and I kind of fill in with the lighter in other areas. We're moving on to our final category now, and that's lips. I thought that I had a fair few little products that it deserved its own category, because there are a lot of subcategories within the lips section. So the first one would be lipstick, and I have cheated ever so slightly with this one and chosen a further subcategory for each, in a kind of everyday wear lipstick and then a going out lipstick. So let's crack on with the first one, which is an everyday lipstick, and it's the Rimmel's Moisture Renew lipstick in Notting Hill Nude. This is such a lovely lipstick. Just look at it. Like, packaging alone is lovely, but it's a dupe for a Tom Ford lipstick, which I think was Spanish Pink. You know, I actually quite like the packaging for this. Some people don't really like it, but I think it's quite cute. It's very sweet. It actually smells really nice as well, but this is such a wearable nude colour. I'd been on the hunt for a nude colour for such a long time. Came across this, and it's got slight pinky peachy tones to it, so it's a really easy to wear nude colour, because sometimes people wear nude colours and they just think, well, it looks exactly like my lips, but that's kind of the point, your lips but better, right? So this had to be on the list because I wear it on a daily basis. And then when I got my category of going out, I couldn't not pick this Gosh lipstick, which is the Velvet Touch lipstick in Flirty Orange. And I've worn this actually for, I think it was when I did my 5-minute makeup challenge, or was it? No, 5 product face challenge. I picked this one. It's such an absolutely gorgeous bright orange. I mean, I'm looking at it in the viewfinder now, and it's just glowing pretty much. If you don't do orange, I would highly suggest you just go for the brightest, craziest one you can and just wear it. If you don't like it, there's no love lost. I thought I'd do a category, well, subcategory for lip crayons. And my favourite lip crayon of the year was Clinique Chubby Stick Intense in Hefty Hibiscus, which I actually have a review on the blog, which I will link down in the box below. But it is a kind of reddy orange colour, It's really beautiful on. Again, it's such a wearable colour. There's a real hydrating quality to this, so you don't have to worry that, unlike with lipstick, which is very drying, that you're going to end up with really flaky lips, especially this kind of time of year. That's the one thing us girls worry about the most, is having really flaky dry lips and lipstick just looking terrible, but you can't go wrong with a chubby stick. So that's it for the 2013 Cosmetic edit. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why don't you give it a thumbs up, and you can leave a comment below, especially if you've got any advice on what colours I need to go with my MAC Cranberry and my quad. That would be fantastic, because I am completely clueless when it comes to this kind of stuff. But if you did enjoy the video, I'm really glad, and I hope to see you for my next video, which is going to be the 2013 skincare edit. See you next time. Bye!